All right, we should be live. There we go. I don't know why. Yeah, my OBS got a little bit messed up. All right. So as far as I recall, we had completed multiple previous contracts. This time in Juno New Origins, I'm going to be doing a Brigo flyby with the Brigo orbit. We're going to earn ourselves roughly 330 million by doing this. And we already have a rocket that is capable of getting into Brigo orbit because we've done it previously. So, to reiterate, I'm going to be reaching Brigo orbit in order to earn 300 million. And then we'll go from there. Another thing is, we have to get... I did a little bit of research. It took a little bit of research. But I learned that in order for us to get maneuver nodes, we actually need this, the Gantt charts, which allows us to plan maneuvers. It increases our max active crafts, and it gives us more contracts. So this is the research we really want, and we need 5 more tech points to do it. So in order to get that research, we need to complete these contracts. And we can just retrofit this. Not even retrofit. Just hold on. Let me middle click that, zoom in. I'm trying to delete those. There we go. And I'm going to save. I'm just going to call this Brigo Orbit 1. Doesn't have CubeSats on it. It's the same design, but we know this design works. So we don't need to change anything. Right? Right. So we're going to launch this thing. It's going to cost us 3.4 million. Plus the 819, so it's going to be roughly 4.3 million to launch this. And we're still going to make over 300 million by completing these 2 contracts in one go. All right, let me make sure my audio is set low. And we are going to be launching. So we will reach Brigo, we'll have the flyby, and then we'll reach Brigo's orbit. All right, let's launch. 3, 2, 1. Let's get the nav ball locked. Heading locked. Let's get the nav sphere going eastward very slightly. And our thrust to weight's about 1.3, so we can start to scale back our main engine. If it hits 1.4, I'm going to scale it back again. as we climb. I don't want it to go below 30% total down here. So we're gonna leave it with that, 31%. Because that's the only engine that has gimbaling, and without gimbaling we have no control. So other than our control module, which has the gyroscopes, but it's not enough to keep us stable. I'm not doing anything, by the way. I just have my heading locked. It's naturally doing a gravity turn right now, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing. All right, break those off and then full throttle. I don't want to follow our apoapsis too much because I want to get out of atmosphere as quickly as possible. Once our apoapsis reaches about 80 kilometers, then we'll start to angle ourselves. I'm just gonna lock prograde. Fast forward time. You know what? If I recall, I've had trouble in the past a little bit. So we're gonna start burning on the horizon preemptively to get our orbital velocity higher. We're about to run out of the delta V in this stage. We're gonna stage and then we'll continue our burn. And our periapsis is still quite low, but as long as we keep burning in this direction, we should be okay. We're carrying our momentum up to the periapsis right now, so that's good. We're not fighting a fall back down. And it's okay if our apoapsis is a little bit high, just to play it safe. All right, now we can angle straight towards the prograde. And we're gonna make it. Finishing our burn. Once we see periapsis here, once this goes positive, then we're pretty much in the clear. And we still have 2.7 kilometers of delta V. And there we have it. We can cut throttle because our periapsis is above the atmosphere. Beautiful. So from here, now that we are in orbit and we have just over 2.6 kilometers per second of delta V, we can make Brigo our target. I learned I can also click up here, search for planets and crafts, and just click Brigo. And I believe I can I guess I have to zoom in on it. How did I do it before? Okay, so from here, I select the magnifying glass, search for planets. I need to get rid of this. You can toggle your active contracts on and off here. Search for planets and crafts. I click Brigo. And then in the map info here, I can click set as current target. And that way we have it set as our current target, which is helpful when I'm looking at my craft and I'm trying to rendezvous. Christy, welcome. I am going to quick save at this point, and then we are going to set up our burn. As far as I recall, it's about a 45-degree angle. If Brigo is here and we start burning, we want to start burning about here to have our apoapsis be somewhere around here. So in that case, we want to wait until about right here and start burning prograde. But I want to burn upward slightly because our orbit is not aligned with Brigo. And we'll see that it's aligned when this green circle is on the same plane as that yellow square. We can just base prograde now. It's not so great. We're gonna be below it slightly. There we have it. We're below it slightly. See? I tried to correct it. But it wasn't enough. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that anymore. So now we can speed up time. Coming in on the dark side of Brigo, so we can't really see it. We can kind of see the edge of it. Okay, so we got the Brigo flyby. That is Luna. Did it change? There we go. Okay. Now that we are in the sphere of influence, we can wait until our periapsis and we will burn retrograde. We're burning retrograde to capture its sphere of influence. And now we are in Brigo orbit. So we have completed both of these contracts and we have earned about 300 million total. Now, I don't know how to get it to show our... I think it's eccentricity, right? Let's focus. All right, yeah, we completed those. I just want to get better at here. So if I hover over this, it shows us where the ascending and descending nodes are. So we want to go to our descending node. And we want to burn normal. To flatten out our orbit around its equator. See, inclination. Now it's increasing again, so we don't want to burn anymore. Burn retrograde. Bring our orbit in. It's interesting how it takes a second for the engines to shut down when I cut them off. All right, we have 439 meters per second of delta V. At this point, I'm just going to burn off the rest of our energy. The rest of our delta V, so we crash into the surface of Brigo. So we're only going 62 meters per second now. Our orbital velocity is 78 meters per second, which is not nearly fast enough to maintain our orbit. So we are going to crash back down. Not back down, but we will crash down. Very cool. Now the textures in this game of the surface are pretty janky, but I'm getting 165 frames per second, so I'll give it a pass. And there we go. We successfully reached Brigo in a flyby, and we entered its orbit. Now we will end flight, save and exit, and we now have 664 million. We did not get any tech points for that, did we? Okay. How do I get tech points? Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Why we didn't get tech points for that. Ah, so the landmarks give us tech points. TP or tech points. Very interesting. I think in the meantime, I'm going to start this tutorial. I still have a lot to learn. Yeah, let's back up our current crafts because we know this thing is capable of reaching the moon's orbits. Since we're building a craft that mostly moves horizontally, we'll need to change the command disk from a rocket to plane configuration. Click the part properties button on the left. Ah. Here's the volume for battery to 25%. Add an empty fuel tank behind the command disk. Hose cone. Wheel. Right click and drag. And symmetry tool. Make the front wheels turnable and reduce the engine torque. Crank up the torque on the rear wheels. And change the gear ratio to 1. Motor input pitch instead of throttle. Ah, interesting. So that's going to let us use, I think, W and S instead of shift and control, right? And we're launching on the runway. Press and hold Q to decrease roll. Roll did nothing. Now, oh, wait. Can I speed up time? I can't see in the dark. Okay. Roll didn't do anything. So yaw turns the wheels. Hold left shift to throttle up. Sometimes you may find the input of the wheel set to the throttle, but that doesn't let you reverse the car. Let's use the pitch instead. So press and hold S to decrease the pitch. So I'm pressing, yeah. Press and hold B to engage the brakes. Open the add slider panel in the bottom left. If you want to have finer control or to leave an input fix at a defined value, then you can use the input sliders. Click the pitch button to show the input slider. Press and hold W to increase the pitch. Okay, so I can slide this to make the pitch. I'm not pressing W at all. What happens if I press S though? That removes it. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we're driving now. And B is brakes. If I let go of the brakes, we just roll. Very cool. And we're doing the jump. Oh, we're going pretty quick. Ooh, land speed record. Let's go. Get at least 150 meters away. We did it. We did it. Oh, we landed it. Oh. Oh. No. It was a good run. Nice. We got 10 tech points for that. Yeah, save and exit. Very nice. Now I can get this tech, which is going to let us use maneuver nodes, which are extremely important. And we have more contracts now. Taxi driver. Now I'm kind of interested in learning about how to make vehicles. Wheeled vehicles. Oh, here's the big one. Brigo landing. We get 100 mil just for signing. May as well take Brigo orbit. And this is a progression quest as well. That's a progression quest, kind of like these. This one wants us to build a plane. We can mess with that later. I like focusing on rockets for now. I would like to land on another surface, whether it's a moon or planet. I would like to land. So that's it. We do the same thing, except now we have to touch down safely. So as far as our current design goes, the Brigo Orbit 1, we're going to need to figure out another stage. I'm thinking for that, we're going to need to get some more thrust. And we're going to need to make a final, another final stage. This in a vacuum? Yeah. Do we have the landing legs? I can't remember. Oh, we do. Piston leg. I don't know if this can actually be that large. That's what they look like when they're extended. So that should be okay. Auto activation. I don't know if we want auto activation. What we need is another interstage. And then we need to put this underneath that. Right? So the last stage, break that off, and then we have our lander. We can change the color of this to make it distinguishable. Can I change the color of the... Oh, I can. The landing legs. Orange and green. That looks so bad. I'll just do red. Red is kind of in the same bracket as orange. All right, now for staging, let's just double check this. All of those fire off. Our thrust to weight is large. Yeah, in that case, I'm gonna be increasing those. Are those tilted inward slightly? No. I'm wondering if I should be putting another decoupler down. Do it like that. We have 2 decouplers for each booster. This should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Oh, that's why it wouldn't, because our starting thrust to weight's only 1.27. So let me actually over that a little bit. There we go, 1.35. That's perfect. Save Brigo Lander 1. Save. And I think I'm gonna launch this thing. I think we're ready. You know, I might do one more thing. Do that. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we're perfectly fine. I wanted to just give that middle engine just a little bit more fuel. All right, let's launch it. From the alley pad, this is going to cost us 7.5 million to launch. But we stand to make, what, 300 million? So, very well worth it. All right, nav ball, throttle up. Nav sphere. And we are going to launch. 3, 2, 1. And I'm gonna scale down our center engine as our thrust to weight gets to 1.4. I'm gonna bring it down to 1.3 until this is about 30%, as it is right now. And then once we do staging, I will put this to 100% and break off these engines. Or vice versa, break off these engines and then put it up to 100%. Ooh, we need to well, we're gravity turning, but a little bit too fast, I think. Yeah, our apoapsis is only 20 kilometers, so it's okay. We'll be fine. Ooh, that one ran into us because that was not good. That was not good. Jason, welcome. That booster ran into us because we did not turn our thrust to 100% on this engine before detaching them. So we didn't clear the booster and it ran into us. Now, it wasn't an extremely fast collision. If it were a fast collision, the whole thing would have exploded, but it's still not good, nonetheless. Hold angle at a 45-degree angle. Continue increasing our apoapsis so we maintain our momentum while increasing our orbital velocity. I'm going to aim towards prograde. Could have been worse? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing could have exploded. But for future reference, I need to make sure that the center engine is full thrust when I do staging, so we can clear the boosters without them colliding. All right, we're about to do staging. There we go. We're continuing our burn. Our periapsis is still very negative at this point. This is going to take a little while, so I'm going to speed up time. You make Juno look really easy. I mean, I have many hours in KSP and KSP2. It's the same formula, but I appreciate the compliment. Once you get the core formula down, it makes a lot of sense. But playing this game, I will say, is a lot easier than playing Kerbal Space Program 2, because the game runs very well. So I don't feel like I'm pushing through mud all the time. What issues are we... What makes Juno difficult for you compared to Kerbal? It's a little bit different to get used to. Like the UI, the setup, and so on, compared to Kerbal. All right. We are set now. Periapsis above 90. We have... Oh, we just ran out of fuel, didn't we? We just ran out of fuel. Okay, I should have been paying attention to that, because now we're going to leave that in orbit. How much delta V do we have here? 3 kilometers? Well, I should have been paying... All I would have had to have done would have been to stage right before we finished our burn. But unfortunately, that's going to be debris now. Can't figure out how to change engines. Are you talking about staging? I don't know how to change engines either. Yeah, let me quick save. And let's speed up time. So we angle like that. And then we will burn prograde. Does this thing not have gimbaling? Oh, I don't think this engine has gimbaling. If this doesn't have gimbaling, we are screwed. Here's an example of me making it not look easy. Forgetting to check if our last stage has gimbaling or not. We're gonna find out whether we have enough delta V to make it, though. You'd think that even without gimbaling, we would have... Yeah, we've got battery. Interesting. Yeah, without gimbaling, we have no control. So... yeah, now it's just turning us randomly without... yeah, well, that's that. I think we made the mistake... well, it's clearly this engine in particular. This is using monopropellant. Yeah, this engine in particular just doesn't have gimbal in. It's the Spirit engine. And we should be using the Gnome engine, probably. Yeah, see, this has gimbal in. Is this tank? What is this tank? Paralox. How did we even have fuel for that? Because I was using monopropellant. I don't know. There's much to learn. Is this in a vacuum? I want this to be in a vacuum. All right, I'm just gonna make that 100%. We only need the thrust to weight to be like 50%. Yeah, like that. Perfect. So this is using Carolox. This has Carolox in it, and that's all we needed to do. All right, and then these, I need to increase the detachment force. Yeah, that's already... yeah, we don't want fuel crossfeed. These break off at a perfect time. Perfect time. All right, let's save it. Check our staging. Those go, those break off, that breaks off, and then that engine fires. This breaks off, the Gnome engine fires, and the landing legs open up at that point, which is fine because at that point we're in a vacuum anyway, so they're not going to cause any drag, so we're good. How do you get different engines? You have to use the tech tree to unlock new stuff. Unless you're in sandbox mode, which I think in that case you have everything unlocked in the beginning. Interesting. Yeah, we can add a whole bunch of stuff to this. Yeah, you have to unlock stuff using the tech tree. And you get tech points by completing certain contracts. Not all contracts give you tech points, though. All right, let's launch it. Throttle up, nav ball, and nav sphere. I'm going to turn that 1 degree to the east. Move our flight info right over here. Don't know what pinning it does. Whatever. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, our thrust to weight is 1.4, so I'm going to bring that down. There we go. We have to remember, before we press spacebar, we have to press Z. So we press Z to turn our throttle to 100%, and then we press spacebar to detach all of our boosters once they run out of fuel. Yeah, and our drag loss is decreasing. That's good to see. Change this to orbit at this point. All right, we press Z and then spacebar once we have to do staging. There we go, and we're clear. Beautiful separation. Clean and clear. Now we can start angling ourselves slightly more. What's our apoapsis? Apoapsis is just passing 70. We can head towards prograde at this point. Keep it full throttle. We keep our momentum going. Our orbital velocity is increasing. I'd say we want our apoapsis to be over 100 kilometers. And our time to apoapsis is increasing very slowly, which is good to see. It means we have the perfect amount of thrust. All right, staging. And I'm gonna burn on the horizon now. We have to keep an eye on our fuel because we don't want to leave this stage in orbit. Yeah, so we just keep burning this. Oh, that's what pinning it does. It allows you to see it even if you're in a different screen. Like, we can see the map info even though we are... Yeah. Okay, we are at our apoapsis now. Which is plenty high. And this stage will allow us to get into orbit. This number here will become positive. But currently we are falling back down ever so slightly. But we will get into orbit with this stage before we fall. Or we should get very close, at least. At which point our final stage will finish the burn, which is perfect. We don't want our periapsis. Okay, good, perfect. So we ran out of fuel, staging, and now that's going to crash back down, and we'll reach orbit with this final burn. Oh, we need to actually be burning... Get our periapsis above 80, and we're in the clear. Yeah, that last little bit was not efficient, but it's okay. It'll be okay. We don't need this now. Yeah, I wish that this here trajectory periapsis shows NA, but in the map info it shows a negative number. I like being able to see the negative number because it lets me know how close I am to having a positive periapsis. Understanding how negative your periapsis is important information, and just having it say not applicable isn't valid because you do have a periapsis, it's just negative. All right. So we're still going at 2x speed. I want to focus Brigo. Map info set as targets. I'm going to quick save, and then we are going to line up our lander to burn. Oh, perfect. Our periapsis is exactly where we want it to be. Burn right about here. Perfect. So now we burn prograde, and we can actually burn prograde this time because we have gimbaling on our engine. And we have about 4,000 meters per second of delta V, which is plenty to allow us to reach Brigo. So I'm going to speed up time while we are burning. Yeah, Brigo should be somewhere right around here by the time we get there. I may have to burn a little bit more to have us hang for a second to let it catch up. We'll see. It's going to be close, nonetheless. Got it. All right. Once we reach Brigo's sphere of influence, we will complete one contract and then... Oh, look, they're in alignment. The two moons. Very cool. Well, they're in alignment from this angle. I wonder if that would make for a cool screenshot. Kinda. A little bit difficult to... see. All right, cool. So we're gonna make Brigo's sphere of influence. Speed up time until we get to our periapsis. I'm going to lock retrograde. I'm going to burn until we get into its orbit. Or is it? There it is. Wait, that's not it. Why is it not going up on... Oh, it's below us. That's why. There we go. Now we are orbiting Brigo. Get our periapsis below 100 kilometers. We're just gonna have enough fuel to get this done. It's gonna be a very tight landing. Cool. Quick save time. We try and land in the crater. Oh, that's a cool screenshot. That's a screenshot I'm definitely gonna take. Need that thumbnail. All right, I will be right back. 1 second. All right, I'm back. So yeah, we're gonna attempt our landing. Quick save. At this point, all we really need to do is just... we could adjust our orbit to try and land here, which would give us more tech points, I think. So I'm pretty decent at manipulating trajectory. Oh, if this is gonna eat all of our fuel, though, I gotta be careful. I love how the color just... it's basically like your thing is made out of light. Like a neon... All right, there we go. That should be good. Now we go retrograde. Until that line meets up with that flag. There you have it. That's pretty close. We should be able to see the landmark. Hold on. If I focus the planet, there we go. The moon. Yeah, see, we can see our trajectory is clearly off. So I think we're gonna need to focus that way. Hard to see. It's gonna be somewhere over there. See that ring? Yeah. I understand. Oh, you know what? It's gonna be exceptionally difficult. No. We'll be able to do it. We'll be able to do it, right? All right, we should be able to land in this thing. Should be able to land on a flat spot. That's what I'm trying to achieve right now. Trying to lower our surface velocity. Looks like a pretty flat area, right? Yeah, we have ourselves locked in at 19 meters per second now. Descent. We're gonna lock anti-target. We want to be coming in at below 10 meters per second. This is our ground level altitude. Well, we made it, but we did flop. We came in at about 6 meters per second. And we just became a billionaire in game. So I think what happened was also I didn't cut the throttle fast enough. So we bounced, and then the gimbal tried to correct, and it aided in angling us sideways, and then we flopped. But yes, it's also not completely flat, clearly. Oh my god! There's no recovering the craft anyway. The launch cost was 6.85 million, and we made 485 million. So we came out with huge amounts of money, and we're we are now officially a billionaire. Oh, and we got an insane amount of tech points. Got 200 and what? 250 tech points roughly. But yeah, now we have the capability of doing a lot more. Like, I think now we have the capability of actually launching an astronaut, landing them on the surface of the moon, and then bringing them back even. I think we have... Yeah, we may need these legs. I should have made the landing gear bigger. I probably could have made them bigger. Definitely want to get this one, though. This will probably unlock more landing contracts. So... Very nice. Ooh, new customer. Some of the hardest missions. Ooh. Interesting. So this one wants us to get into space and then land on a drone ship in the water. Yeah. Yeah, these are redoable. We can keep redoing these to make more money. But at this point, we can just land on Brigo again to make another 720 million. But the progress is here. Yeah, definitely gonna try and do the drone ship, and I do want to mess around with the land vehicle building. I want to get the land speed record in this game. Yeah, this is the Falcon 9. This is basically like launch a reusable booster. Very nice. So we are now a billionaire in Juno New Origins. And we have even more contracts to complete. And we have many more tech points. So we've been making good progress. It's been fun. I'm going to leave it here. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. It's been a fun time in Juno New Origins, and I'll be on in the future. Thank you.